Okay, but you guys were saying that something that a man of value would want is your
drive
and ambition.
But like career-wise.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like,
I don't care about that.
men don't really care.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't care, it doesn't make you more attractive.
Okay, then take that off that
Like-
list.
For most men, your career, even if you're hyper successful, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
That's really great for you, but it doesn't make you more attractive as a partner. Also, we don't really reap any benefits from your success because, I mean, you said your ambition. What was the other term? Sorry, it's blanking on me. Not ambition, but
Drive?
Drive, yeah. You said you want a guy to pay for first dates. So oftentimes, even if a woman makes a lot of money, she doesn't even want to equally contribute to the start of the relationship and pay for dates, pay for first dates. So why do men not care about your drive and ambition? Because quite frankly, we don't reap any benefits because women typically don't share their resources with men the same way that men share their resources with women.
You only care about things that benefit you?
Well, I mean, we're all selfish to some degree, but like when it comes to the money component, why should I care? Like, it's not really a factor in our relationship. Like, the fact that you make good money is great for you, but if you're still expecting me to pay for the first date, why should I care about how much money you make? Especially early on in a relationship.
Can I play devil's advocate real
Sure,
quick?
absolutely.
But let's put a scenario, right? So, like you said, you don't care about how much money a woman makes in a relationship. You're taking care of her. But if that woman doesn't have any drive and ambition and you get in a tight spot where now you're not making enough money to provide for the both of you, aren't you going to be a little upset at your woman for not having that drive and ambition to have her own money in the way? Or let's say you're providing everything and now she's kind of like lax, right? Maybe she doesn't take care of herself as much. Maybe the house isn't always clean. And you're like, where did your drive and ambition go when we first got together where you dolled up every day? You took care of the house, you cleaned.
Well, I mean, I don't like women who wear a lot of makeup, so.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own, right? Like, totally understandable, to each their own.
I mean, good. She doesn't doll up. Awesome.
Okay, but
Cool.
let's replace that with something else.
I don't need my girl to paint her face.
Okay.
But so, okay, I'm
But playing devil's advocate to the
sense.
sense of like, okay, now you're in a bind, you're in a tight spot.
Financial bind?
Financial bind.
Never. It won't happen. I am that confident in myself that I will never be in a financial bind. Ever.
Are you even into like the traditional role of like taking care of like a woman
Yeah.
100%? Because you kept making jokes about like,
Yeah.
oh, well, like she needs to take care of me. She
I mean,
needs
look,
to do
it's-
the first date.
it's
I don't think
sure.
you really want to take care of someone 100%,
No.
do you?
Well, let me just answer your
Yeah,
thing
sure.
really quick. I mean, again, perhaps some catastrophic thing happens, but I feel like I'm so capable and I am so what's the term?
Resourceful?
No, it's not that. I don't think for me, I think financially I'm gonna be okay.
Okay. Now.
Like I don't know why she gave me a
well,
weird
no,
look,
I
but
believe
I'm
you.
just-
I believe you that financially you will be okay long term, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, this is so successful. This podcast is so successful. Absolutely. And you have other endeavors. But now let's take it to the point where, like, you're just kind of sick of your girl just not doing anything. Are you going to throw it in her face? Like, I pay for everything and you don't do shit. Where's your drive? Where's your ambition to, like, do something?
Do what? Are you
Cook,
saying? Are you
clean,
saying?
do, like-
Well, I mean, okay. If I'm paying, so you're talking like if we're in a traditional thing where
Yeah.
I'm taking care of everything. Well, I mean, she should probably hold up her end of
Right.
the
But-
arrangement. So you're saying if she just got lazy and stopped doing that shit?
Yeah. That drive,
I mean,
that drive and ambition that she once had kind of went away.
drive. Well, there's drive and ambition for career, and then there's drive and ambition to fall into your traditional gender roles of taking care of the internal household.
But don't those go hand in hand? What if she just kind of like
No.
is lax to the fact that like
In
oh, shit.
general, just across the board, she's just a lazy person. I mean, obviously, look, as a woman, you need to, if you're single, you're going to have to be working in some capacity to provide for yourself, food, housing, etc. But
What if she just wants to stay in bed all day and just kind of chill and hang out and watch Netflix? She has no drive and no ambition.
Oftentimes, when we're talking about these terms, drive and ambition, we're talking about it from an economic, financial, career perspective.
We could be, or we could be talking about it in the fact of like, okay, she gets up, she starts her day, she does her workout, she goes to her
great.
yoga.
That's great.
She wants to go to a class and better her education.
Acro
and
yoga
mind.
is a big red flag.
Acro what?
Acro yoga. I don't know if you've seen those fucking YouTube shorts. These chicks be doing acro yoga, big red flag. Regular yoga.
Okay, we'll keep it to regular
acro yoga. No go.
Yeah.
Red flag. Big red flag.
She had that
I'm
ambition
derailing.
to be a better person.
Yes, you should be a motivated individual.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like a woman's ambition, drive, and motivation when it comes to becoming a boss babe and making a ton of money, that isn't really an attraction trigger for most men.
Gotcha.
I don't think we really care all that much.
Okay.
It doesn't make you more attractive, even if you like.
Does it take away?
A woman's status doesn't. It's like we don't care.
Do you feel emasculated if
No.
your partner makes more money than you?
No, I mean I'd be fine in a scenario like that. I
Okay.
think most women would. It more so probably fall on the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think most women want to date a guy who's on their level or higher.
Mm-hmm.
Like us men, we would date if we're millionaires, we'll date a girl who works at Chick-fil-A.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give as long as she's a good person and she's physically attractive, do not care about your job. Obviously, we don't want somebody who's like destitute and broke and like really irresponsible with money. That's bad too. If you have a shit ton of debt, that's not ideal. But like we'll date a girl who's works at Chick-fil-A. Don't give a fuck. A lawyer will date a girl, a doctor will date a girl who works a fast food job, who's a barista.
It's funny.
You've got an experience, right? You've probably got, I don't know, maybe you've been, I know you said you like probably guys more so in your age group, or maybe I'm assuming there, but I mean,
But the
have you
roles
ever been
would
hit on by
never-
like a hyper successful dude, like doctor, attorney, maybe on Hinge?
David.
The roles would never be reversed though.
Yeah.
Women aren't gonna like a successful woman is not gonna
Exactly.
date a guy that's working at Chick-fil-A.
Exactly.
Sorry,
like
but
a woman
they
who's
ain't.
exactly a woman who's attorney
Yeah.
would not date. I mean, I remember when I was a bit younger, I matched with a woman who's a litigation attorney on Bumble, I think it was. She was making probably $200,000-$300,000 a year. In her bio, she said, "Even because of my career, I still want chivalry and the guy to pay for the first date." And I was like, "Bro, you make $200,000 a year. Like, I mean, I kind of get it, right? But I think for women, it kind of, as you become more successful financially, it does start to shrink your pool of potential partners if your standard is, not necessarily, but if you want to date a guy who's on your level and above, if you get into the 1% career-wise, that you limit your pool, whereas as men make more money, it actually tends to open up their pool of potential partners.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Because men will
Men
you
will
could
fuck
be a
anything.
barista. We could be a fucking making 7 figures a year and does not fucking matter.
But I also think it depends on what kind of man we're talking about. I mean, how you're saying you're financially, like stable, but I think for most middle class, lower class men, I mean, it probably
Sure.
is going to matter, what your girl
Yeah.
is doing. You'd probably want a woman with a little bit more ambition because you can't financially afford to,
Well, I
not
will
have her work.
Sure, I see what you're saying. I would say the economic reality for the vast majority of people, just it's a reality for most to be able to afford rent, to be able to raise kids. Most people are going to need a dual income household.
Exactly.
However, what I would say to that is, even for that guy who's middle class, low class, what is it, middle class, whatever. He probably if he meets a girl that he really likes and she makes less than him, she's a barista and she's hot and she is pleasant, feminine, whatever it is. He's probably I think for men, it's not going to be an immediate disqualifier. Whereas you as a woman, if you're looking for a husband, the guy who's working a minimum wage job is that's from the get-go is probably not going to do it for you. I know a lot of you guys are a bit on the younger side. You're probably not overly, at this point in your life, you probably don't give a fuck about, you're dating college guys. They're
Right.
not making any money or they're working so at this point in your life, you probably don't care, right? But I think once you get into your mid-20s, late 20s,
It'll matter
it's going to
more.
be much more part of the equation because it's important. I mean, if you want to have kids, you want to have family, finances is a component to it.
Yeah.
But from a guy's perspective, and Ryan, if you want to weigh in, like, does it matter to you? Because it doesn't matter to me at
Yeah,
all.
I was gonna say, how would you ladies feel if you're on a date with a man and he said, "I have a really cool fossil collection"?
Aw, he's
Yeah,
rich.
You'd be like, "Oh, well, how?" Like
fossil
You'd probably
collection?
think, "Oh, that's nice."
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, good for you.
Exactly,
yeah.
and that's how men feel if you say, "I'm a lawyer."
Oh.
Like, man, it's like, hey, that's dope.
Like, I don't think fossil and lawyer. I think it needs to be a different.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I even had a friend. He was talking to this one girl, and she kept flexing. And I'm a this attorney, and I can do this, and I've done. Here's my business, and a lot of girls sometimes don't realize that that's the equivalent of me telling you, well, check out my Jordan collection in my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
so cool. It's like, congratulations for you, but I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
Men don't give a shit. Men
yeah.
don't care. I get it.
So that's not, but you guys were kind of getting into like a semantics thing where it's like, well, what if she's doesn't clean herself or doesn't and just stays in a room all day? And that's like, nah, obviously you want a girl that is fit and
Yeah.
is, friendly and doing all an upkeep and shit like that and goes to the gym, all that shit.
But I feel like a girl saying that she's like a lawyer and has all these accomplishments, she probably worked harder than someone who has a fossil collection or whatever. Like,
I think you're missing it's like an equivalent comparison. So
just
the same way that you would feel if I
Yeah.
said, check out my fossil collection, that's how I feel when a girl says, I started my own company. I'm like, dope. That's nice for you. That's the only way I can do it. It's they're not the same thing. They're the male versus
Just how-
female
yes.
viewpoint.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not able
Yeah,
to
I mean-
feel that.
And I've dated hyper successful women. I dated an orthopedic surgeon. I dated a doctor. I dated a physician. I dated a physician's assistant. Dated a
We see a
Trying to flex how
pattern.
many
Damn.
girls? No.
like let's see. There was a pharmacist, a bunch of nurses. Too many fucking nurses.
I think you got a type.
You fucked the whole hospital.
For real.
Pretty much.
Dentist.
Yes,
Dental
actually.
dental tech.
Wow.
Wait, yeah, dentist or the tech?
Where are you finding these women?
Dentist.
Yeah.
Dating apps. Dating apps.
An esthetician.
But you look for a certain
yeah.
niche, like you look at.
No, it's
I mean,
just
it
it
looks like you have a
happens-
pattern. You're saying you don't care about what they do, but
No,
you're
but I'm-
obviously
no,
like,
but
this
I
is the
mean-
pattern.
I mean, what I've noticed though is that's not like the type of the women I've been in relationships. No, but these were like when I say I should clarify when I say I've dated, went on a couple dates, that sort of thing. And honestly, when like a woman who's a doctor, that's awesome. I'm sure she's incredibly intelligent, and I do care about a woman's intelligence because I do think to some degree intelligence does have a genetic basis, and I would like my children to be intelligent. So, and but I will say when it comes to like women who are hyper successful, they're obviously, and that's wonderful, they're very focused on their career. And if I'm looking for like a long-term relationship, I'm looking for someone to have kids with, I do have concerns over, well, what if I want more of your focus on our children than your career? Or what if I want you a little more in like focused on me than your career? Now,
Most women are going to say no.
to what?
No, I'm not going to give you more because I've worked so hard to build my career and be where I am.
Exactly.
Yeah. Most
But-
women are going to be like, nah.
Right. And so, and also I think women who are super successful, hyper successful, especially like a woman, like we could say that a woman who's a doctor or who are a lawyer, these are people who are known for working really insane hours. Now I think women are smarter because women do try, even in these hyper successful careers, to try to prioritize more of a work-life balance, whereas you have men who will go like 70, 80 hours a week. Women are just, and women do that too, but I think women do typically tend to, more so than men, prioritize more of a healthy work-life balance, which I think is smart because us men, we work insane, but and so do women. But I think women, generally speaking, my understanding of the data, women do tend to prioritize more of a work-life balance.
Of putting manly.
She's too busy.
She's too busy.
She's too busy. The orthopedic surgeon sorry, Brian, gotta do some, cut up some bones and shit. I'm like, cool.
You're like, shit, I got like 2 hours a week for you. What you want to do?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah.
So I would like a woman who's maybe got a little more free time. There's that component to it. And those are very stressful jobs too. That's like people in the healthcare field, very stressful.
Yeah.
I think the rate of physician burnout is like really high. They work insane hours and it's a stressful, it can be a stressful job. I actually heard the alcoholism rates among doctors and attorneys is much higher than in the general population. The incidence of self-deletion is higher in that cohort of people too. So it's a very stressful job. Also, a woman who's an attorney, I think this applies to both men and women, but typically attorneys are very disagreeable temperamentally. You have to be kind of very disagreeable. So I feel like women who are attorneys probably have to step into their masculine a lot. And
You're going to tell her to get on top and she's going to say, object. I fucking object.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Are you get on top of what? She objects to getting on top.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. I missed that one.